Welcome to the digital events of the release of Visual Planning version 8. We are actually very excited today to present you this new version of Visual Planning with its brand new feature. Due to the COVID-19 situation, of course, it was not possible for us to welcome you in Paris as we used to do for each major release, but actually it was the opportunity for us to present you what we have worked on since the release of Visual Planning version 7. Before to go further, let me first of all present you your host today. So right from New York to Paris, here is Chantos Gadian.
Yes, my name is Chantos Gadian, and I'm the software sales manager here at Stilog Inc.
Hi, Chant. So, because visual planning for sure will not exist without our development team, here's Thomas Timbal.
Yes, and hello, my name is Thomas. I'm part of the development team, and I'm working on VP Portal and VPGO.
Last but not least, here's one of our consulting team member, Tomas Rojas.
Hello, I'm Tomas Rojas, and I'm a senior consultant at Stilog.
And my name is Emily, and I am actually the head of international development at Stilog. Our CEO, Christophe Palmer, is unfortunately not with us today, but he also wanted to welcome you to that event and share a few words about our company. Here's a message from him.
Hi everybody, thank you for attending this 2021 Visual Planning User Club. I hope you are all staying safe and well. During the COVID crisis and its subsequent consequences, it was very hard to imagine how a new version of visual planning could be developed. But we succeeded, thanks to the support and commitment of all Stilog employees. So today, I'm proud to announce the release of version 8 of Visual Planning, which comes with a lot of new features and many improvements on the previous version. First of all, I would like to thank our customers who continued and even increased the usage of visual planning throughout this difficult time. Thank you very much for your loyalty and continual support, which allowed us to continue to be a major player on the market for scheduling and resources management, and last but not least, allowed our team to develop a brand new version of VP. Without you, your support, your new needs and challenges, this new version wouldn't have been developed as it has. Remote working and the complexity of managing remote workforces have been sources of new user case scenarios for visual planning and gave us the opportunity to expand our client base. Thanks to you, 2020 was again a year of growth. Our activity grew by 3% in Europe and more than 25% in the US. We are therefore really proud to have been able to help our customers go through this crisis. As the global economic situation is slowly but surely getting better since the beginning of this year, our sales have increased significantly and allowed us to reach a new growth record of 20% at the end of the first half of 2021. We are therefore very excited and confident about the future of Stilog and the success of our flagship software Visual Planning 8. As you will see in the presentations that will follow, we have greatly improved the functional coverage of VP. Major improvements have been made when it comes to the design and ergonomics of the user interface. We have made VP even more efficient in its web version and have continued its functional development to answer the rising number of mobility needs and challenges that all companies are facing. For this user club, we unfortunately cannot welcome you in a prestigious venue, as we used to do for each major VP release. Nevertheless, I hope that you will enjoy this digital event and that all presented features will bring new opportunities and ideas to improve the daily management of your business activities. I hope to see you soon in a more friendly environment where we will be able to share our respective experiences around the use of VP. Thank you again and stay safe and healthy.
So thank you very much, Christophe. So before to start the presentation, let me first of all do a quick reminder about the different types of offer that we propose. So visual planning is either available through our on-premise option, that is to say for purchase, or through our cloud offer, that is to say whether you use visual planning through a dedicated shared server or a shared server. So for the release of the version 8 of visual planning, we will introduce a brand new deployment mode, which is actually mixing both options. So it's going to be an on-premise deployment mode that will be actually requires to have an annual subscriptions in order to use it. So visual planning will basically be installed in your very own technical environment, and you will just have to subscribe to an annual contract. So regarding the licenses and all the accesses that you provide to your teams, you still have the very same licenses. You can opt for name licenses or floating one, depending on the number of concurrent accesses that you need to provide to your teams. Bundles that were actually introduced in the version 7 of visual planning is actually allowing to single users to have access to different types of clients of visual planning, whether it's on their smartphone or from the laptop, while having the possibility to benefit from reduced cost. And last but not least, some of you may already use what we call ICO licenses, which basically give the possibility to export, some content to, calendars such as Outlook or Google Calendars, for instance. So those licenses will still be available, and we have actually implemented a brand new features and improvement regarding this feature. So you will need to require those licenses if you want to benefit from that brand new feature. So can you please tell us, Shant, more about how, this presentation will be done today?
Yes, Emily, well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Just want to say that we are so pleased to inform you that the highly anticipated Visual Planning version 8 is finally here, and it's packed with so many new features and so many exciting features. And before we start talking about these new exciting features, I want to tell you about the presentation format. So we will begin discussing technologies. Next, for administrators, we will go over the Admin Center, followed by VP Desk for planners, then VP Portal for daily users, followed by VPGO for remote users, APIs for developers, the conclusion, and finally Q&A. We will not be able to discuss all the new features as time will not allow us to, but you will have access to a digital list that you can download from our website. So as you already know, visual planning software is industry agnostic and can be customized to align with your specific process. For this presentation, our team has configured a project management planner that focuses on the construction industry. The dimensions we use consist of projects, phases, subphases, tasks, milestones, vehicles, statuses. The planner consists of a variety of Gantt and planner views and displays throughout. These views and displays make it easy for team members to collaborate and work together when managing projects and completing tasks. Finally, we have created a couple of reporting sections with key indicators for projects. I will now pass it over to Thomas to discuss the technology segment.
Thank you, Shant.
Just, sorry, Thomas, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to ask your questions at any time. And as Shant said, at the end of the presentation, we will answer to all questions. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
So about the technologies involved in this new version of visual planning, as usual, it's working on Java 8 until Java 11, which is an LTS version. It means that is a long-term service. Of course, for now, all the deliveries will be with Java 11. And because we know that sometimes it's difficult for some of our clients to deploy Java on their park, we made an application available which is called VP Desk Launcher, former VP Desk. It embedded an OpenGL 11. It's now compiled in 64-bit, which allows us to manage way more memory and avoid performance troubles in some cases. For the server part, it's working as usual on Tomcat, so this time Tomcat 9 or 10. and it's working also with the usual databases available on the market, such as MariaDB, MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server. So as you can see, we didn't make a lot of changes on the architecture and the execution environment.
And what about the VPDesk launcher? So there are many changes regarding, the overall layout, and so you told us that there is a 64-bit version right now. So if we have a look on the VPDesk launcher, you will see that we have made some improvement over the look and feel of the VPDesk launcher. So remember that you have basically two ways of opening visual planning and launching visual planning. Actually, you can either open visual planning through VPDesk launcher, and the second way is through our homepage, which is actually requiring to install Java in your laptop. So here there is like some very few changes about the layout of this homepage. You can see that we have decided to add a kind of blue theme, but as you will see throughout the presentations, this theme is actually fully customizable. So let's say that you want to modify the color, put another one and not this blue, you will be able to customize it in order to make this homepage more user-friendly for all your users. So regarding this homepage too, we have decided to put at the bottom part of this homepage some links in order to help users to directly have access to Stilog assistance. In order, if you want to have access to our documentations, if you are looking for technical assistance, you will no longer have to call us or try to find the phone number of your sales representative. Everything will be accessible right from here. So here, what we're going to do today is to review all clients of visual planning. So we will review the Admin Center, VPGO, VP Portal, and now VPDesk. You may have noticed that visual planning is no longer named the Rich client because actually it made more sense for us to rename our Rich client, our main product, as VPDesk, as we have launched, in the previous version, the VPDesk launcher. So now the Rich client is basically named VPDesk. So first of all, let's start with the Admin Center and let's start the presentation of all new features.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you for allowing me to review the Admin Center. So we will start with the dashboard layout and go over the improved look and feel. The overall appearance of the Admin Center is now displayed as a dashboard to allow admin users to benefit from better visibility and clarity over administration details. One of the very first changes you will notice in the Admin Center is the new widget layout and background picture. We were able to maximize the dashboard by resizing each section and adding 2 additional sections called monitoring and server log. In the future, we will add more flexibility and allow widgets to be moved. Some of these widgets have their own tailored menu access. For example, if we go to the planner widget and click on ellipsis on the top right-hand side, you will be able to add a planner, search, or sort by specific planners by name or last restore date within the widget. To access the general settings, you can click on the hamburger menu on the top left-hand side. Back to the dashboard view, below on the right-hand side, you will have direct access to the ongoing server log. Error indicators and a quick search feature are now available to help admin users to easily identify information. Sometimes you may have some logs with a lot of information, and you can now enter in keywords to find exactly what you are looking for. On the bottom left-hand side, you are now able to monitor statistics and indicators in real time. You can expand the widget by clicking on the monitor on the top right-hand side. Once the widget is expanded, below you will see the statistics and indicators broken down by memory used, CPU used, data transferred, cumulative data transferred, average transfer rate, transfer time, database connections, number of web query processing, web query processing time, max web query in the same lapse, On the top left-hand side, you can select a date. And once a date has been selected, the statistics and indicators will instantly refresh. To the right, you can get more granular and select a specific time period. Once again, the page will instantly refresh to the specific time period selected. Back to the dashboard view. You are now able to hide inactive users when assigning them to groups or licenses. Simply double-click on the group, and you will notice a toggle switch which hides the inactive users when the switch is enabled. If you would like to see all the users assigned to a specific group, simply right-click on a group and click on Filter Groups Users. To show all users again, you will simply click on the Users ellipsis and click on Show All. So many clients have requested to remove the connection history to avoid clutter. Admin users can now delete users' connection history of each planner. Simply double-click on any planner and scroll down to the Administration section, then select the number of days to clear. Developers can better identify any issues within the database. It is now possible to display SQL request runtimes in the log file. Simply open up your general settings, scroll down to the application section, and go ahead and switch on the database verbose log. So to summarize, the overall look and functionality of the Admin Center has been greatly improved and makes it easier to navigate. Unique menu access is now available for each widget. Real-time statistics and indicators have been added. Planners can now be sorted by name or last restore date. Inactive users can now be hidden when assigning to groups or licenses. Users can be filtered by group. The connection history can be deleted by days. And finally, the database read performances are now accessible. So let's now talk about the front end of visual planning, and I'll turn it back over to Emily.
Thank you very much, Shant.
Yeah.
So yes, let's jump right now to VP Desk. So there is no, many changes regarding the login page. So as a user, you will have the possibility, to basically enter your username as usual and your password. So remember that the background image that will be displayed in a couple of minutes, the background image when you try to log into VP Desk or to the Admin Center can be customizable. So you can either decide to just stick to the default image that are changing every day, or to put a company logo, for instance, or a personal background, or just a neutral background image if you want to. But please note that only administrators can change this background image, and that is going to be applied to all users. So once you log in to VP Desk, we'll talk about a lot of things today regarding all the improvements that have been made on VP Desk. But first of all, let's focus on all the changes about first of all the dashboard, and then the overall user interface. So what you're seeing here is actually a dashboard, which was actually a feature that was introduced in the version 7 of visual planning. A dashboard is basically allowing you to have access to key information, to key figures about all the things that have been implemented and scheduled in your planner. So basically here, this dashboard is displaying many information. So we have, for this version 8 of visual planning, implemented several improvements. The first thing that we have decided to change here is that regarding the dashboard, previously in version 7, you only had one option in order to manipulate widget, which was actually quite difficult, to not say tricky, to modify the position of all the widgets. So for that new versions, you will now have the possibility to have what we call the free positioning, just by making a right click, disable that option and uncheck it. And whenever we click on OK, then you will be free to move all widgets wherever you want in order to have just more flexibility about the overall layout of your dashboard. Something else that we have actually improved in the dashboard view is now all HTML view that contain some links are now sensitive. So basically it means that you will now be able to put some video content. For instance, as you can see here, we have beautiful visual planning video and a very nice, video of which is actually coming from our YouTube, website. So you also have the possibility to add some links. That is to say, here in that dashboard, you have a link which is actually allowing you to have a direct access to VP Portal. So let's say that you want to give to users, the possibility to have access to external content. You can, right from the dashboard, put a link, and then you will just have to click on it and have access to it. Other improvements that are also interesting, to share with you today is it was not possible in version 7 to either edit or create, resources or events. Now you can do it with version 8 of visual planning. So basically, if I want to add a new employee right from the dashboard or modify an event that has been scheduled by another scheduler or planner, I can do it basically right from here in order to save time and not having, to go into your favorite display, select your resource and modify informations. Now you have the full flexibility to do it right from the dashboard, which is actually quite interesting, and that will allows, all users to save time. Reports. When it comes to reports, one of the many feedbacks that we have actually received from you is the fact that in version 7 it was not possible to modify the colors of all reports. Now this is something that you can do as users in order to not stick to the default color that are automatically applied. So just by making a right click on a report, then you will be able to modify the colors of all reports. And last but not least, and the very last improvement that we have made on those type of view on the dashboard is now the fact that you have the possibility to create different type of dashboard. So for instance, if you have different types of users, let's say that I am technicians, I need to have access to visual planning, but the content which is actually displaying right now is not suitable for the type of task that I'm actually doing. Now administrators will be able to create different type of dashboard. As you can see here, this is a different dashboard displaying different informations, but whenever I will log in as a technician, visual planning will actually recognize me and display the red dashboard, which is actually quite interesting when you have many users that needs to have access to visual planning but still need to have access to different type of information. So for VP Desk, we'll first of all focus on all the user interface design changes. So for that, let's see what is actually changing in that new versions regarding the overall layout. So the main, let's say, striking change that you will see here is that the layout of visual planning of this version, is actually kind of different because we have decided to harmonize all the configurations, icons and configuration settings that you need to have access to in order to configure visual planning. So the set of icon is now different. We have also decided to implement. This is actually a very small change, but it can make a huge difference. Each view right now in the version 8 of visual planning has its own icons. So it will basically allow users to quickly differentiate whether they are working on a schedule view or on an event list or all the type of view that are available in visual planning. On the top part of this screen, you will see that we have decided to put blue headers, which is actually reminding the color of visual planning. As for the home page, this blue header is actually customizable. So once again, if you want to change the color, put some yellow, pink, whatever it is, you will be able to put the color of your company, for instance. And remember that this is going to be applied for all users. So what is actually also interesting when it comes to view is that whenever I'm clicking on a new view, you will have some, graphical animations in order to easily, once again, to recognize what is the active view on that favorite display. And last but not least, we have decided to make some improvement regarding the set of icons. So there is two major improvements regarding the icons that are now proposed in visual planning. The first improvement is that in order to make things easier for users, we have decided to group, all the category of icons per business, activities, and depending on what you're looking for. So this can be, really nice to quickly find the icon that you're looking for. And because we know that from time to time, users are not able to find the perfect icon for the resource you want to assign it, then you will have access in that new version of visual planning to an online library. In order, to make quick search, just put a keyword and have access to more icons in those views. So for instance, here, if I'm putting phone keywords, here I will have, much more icons than the default one that are in visual planning. Last but not least, once again, when it comes to customizations, we most of the time think about colors. So basically here you will be able, to choose a specific colors layout in order, to apply it to all the set of icons that are now available in VPDesk. Regarding all the table view, we have also made some improvement. So one thing which was actually requested many times by customers is now you have the possibility, in table view to modify the alignment of each column. So for instance, let's say here I want to put, that column and put it at the center here. I can easily do it, and it will basically, help you to easily and better read informations, especially when you have a lot of data that are displayed here. One small improvement here is the fact that regarding all resource headings, icons are not visible in table views. This is actually a small details, but in order to still save time when it comes to read informations, you will no longer, for instance, if you are assigning, employees here, you will not have, to read information to know, okay, this is Emily that have been assigned to it, or this is Thomas that have been assigned to that specific project. Thanks to the icon, you can now recognize easily that information. So let's switch right now to all changes that have been made in schedule views. So in the version 7 of visual planning, and actually in the past versions of visual planning, it was possible to synchronize, to a schedule view based on the time scale and the date. So right now for the version 8 of visual planning, you will also have the possibility to synchronize the zoom feature in order, just to save time, and in case if you want to zoom in, you can do it, just once and not having to, first of all, click on a schedule view, the first one, zoom in, then click on the other one and zoom in. We wanted to make you save time regarding all these synchronizations features. What is actually also interesting when it comes to visualize things in a better way is that whenever I am, try to schedule an activities, or if I want to move an activities, now the scale is actually highlighted. So in case that you have many things that are displayed or a very small task that you need to schedule, you can see here that the time scale is actually highlighted, so you can better know where the event is being placed on the schedule. And we have actually added another feature into the schedule view, is the fact that the automatic scrolling is now available. So basically it means that as time passes, the schedule will scroll automatically to the current date or to the current hour. It can be enabled from the display settings just by checking this box that you're seeing here. So basically, if you, in some cases, we have some customers that display their schedule into a very large screen, for instance. This will be very useful for those type of usage. So the schedule will automatically scroll, and user will have access, to all information that have been scheduled. when it comes to find the right events, especially here, because as Sean told you a couple of minutes ago, we are presenting you a project management schedule. So it can be from time to time quite tricky to find the very first activity, the very first operations that have been scheduled for a specific, let's say, phase or resource. So now you have the possibility to quickly find the first events or the last event that have been scheduled for a specific resource. So this can be done with multiple resources if you want to, in order to know exactly, okay, for these specific phases, this event was actually scheduled on that specific date, and not having to scroll the schedule view until to find the very first activity that have been scheduled. So it can be quite useful at a daily basis, especially if you manage a lot of resources. So regarding editors, this is something that we wanted to share with you today. So first of all, regarding all the event editors, you will now have the possibility to display map into the event editors. That was not possible in version 7. So basically, in order to display a map, you needed to create a specific view and have access to it through your favorite display. So here, let's say that I am scheduling an operations and for which I have the client address. As a scheduler, I will quickly be able to identify where the activities are located, in order to save time and once again not having to go back and to select the map view. So another thing that we have improved in editors, and this is actually a feature that I like very much, is the fact now that you can implement in editors what we call a web view. So this is basically an HTML component allowing to display internet content, that is to say, for instance, a website, but it will be also useful in case that you have some, let's say, software or platform that are usable from the internet. Then you will be able to navigate through it right from visual planning. So it will basically allows to save time to users. And here, for instance, you have the French visual planning website, and let's say that, for instance, I want to create a new ticket. I can right now do it right from here and have access to all the content of our website, which can be once again quite useful if you have external tools or external software that can be used from, once again, the internet. So let's switch to another view here, so I can move forward and show you additional improvement that have been made over the layout and the fact that you will now be able to better read information. So in the version 7 of visual planning, we have actually implemented what we call the editor pane. So it was basically the possibility to modify informations from a resource list by having a direct access to the editor of those resources. So for the version 8, we have decided to extend these new features and give the possibility to users to display the editors of each event that are displayed in an event list. So basically here, I will no longer have to double click on an event. I can, right from this view, modify the information of that event and save time and go to another event if I want to make more changes, and once again not having to make many clicks to to have access to informations and modify them and edit them actually. What is also interesting in event lists right now is that you have the possibility to decide what type of events can be created from those event lists. So basically here, if I want to create an event right now, I can. You already know how to do it. You just have to hit the red button, then add a new event. And then here, as you can see, you only have the possibility to create one event. So let's say that I am an administrator and I want to give more possibility to users. I will be able, right from the display settings, to create and to assign different type of hierarchy. Remember that a hierarchy is actually a type of event that can be scheduled on a specific view, for instance. So here I can, add more type of events, and whenever I will make right now a right click, then visual planning will actually propose me what type of events do I want to create, in this event list. So it can be, quite useful in order to reduce errors depending on the type of view that are using, and just in order to make users save time in case that there's many types of events that can be created in their own planner. So last but not least, regarding the map view, we have not made many changes regarding the map view, but the main change regarding those type of view is the fact now you can assign a specific colors for the panes, displaying the color of a resource. So in that example, the red ones are stating that there is no employees, there is no technician that have been assigned to those events, and as a planner I can easily recognize this information and know exactly that those events still need to have a technicians, and we need to assign a technician to those events. And the green pins actually are displaying events for which real technicians has been assigned to those activities and to those operations. So in a nutshell, this brand new user interface is actually giving better visibility on information and in all your operations, flexibility in order to easily manipulate data. And we have actually added many improvements in order to make things a little bit more user friendly regarding all users, and many improvements over editors and view that you are seeing here. So now let's go forward with VP Desk, and I will let Thomas, our consultant, present other functional improvement in VP Desk.
Thank you, Emily. We're going to discuss how data calculation has evolved. First of all, we're going to start with the workload. The workload can now calculate any numerical value according to the period covered by the event. We can count a numerical value according to the first or the last event of any event. Imagine being able to calculate an invoice value on the first or the last month of an event. For example, here I have a 90-day event with an invoice value that is only calculated for the last month of this event. If I move it, you will see that the invoice value will be calculated on the last month, on the new last month. Moreover, we are now able to recover the coordinates calculated from VPGO. These coordinates can be stored in an event form, and they are named check-in position. We can use these coordinates for any distance calculation on any event. Moreover, target constraints have evolved. The value of the target target constraint is no longer a fixed value. It can be calculated by taking into account the attributes of independent events. Imagine being able to set up thresholds that need to be respected from another event from the one that you are scheduling. For example, you can create thresholds per day on how many to be defined resources you want to schedule. If the threshold is surpassed, you will see a pop-up warning you that the target constraint is no longer respected. We have an old functionality that is making its comeback, which is right in the events creation rules. We can now set up a default value for the node. This default value will recover any data from the event. For instance, I'm going to schedule a holiday, and you will see that the node it's already set up with a default value recovering the name of the employee and a text that I have written. We have been working on improving our project management approach. That's why we have new features available for Gantt view. I'm going now to display a Gantt view. Now, the Gantt view can be exported to MS Project. We can simply export a Gantt view by right-clicking on the view's header and selecting Export to MS Project. This export will generate an XML file that is compatible with MS Project. Now I'm going to proceed to import this new file. There you go, sorry. Into MS Project. You will see that all my events will be visible on the year 2020. Remember that this is a one-way exchange between visual planning and MS Project. In addition to that, we are now able to schedule any event directly from the Gantt view. To do so, we just need to drag and drop a resource to the left side of the view. Visual planning will recognize the hierarchies available, and I just have to continue answering to all of the questions. Just remember that you need to drag and drop your resource to the left side of the view. Now we are able to calculate the critical path of any project. As you know, the critical path is the longest sequence of events that needs to be respected in order to complete a project. To calculate the critical path, you just need to right-click on the timeline's header and select critical path. You will see that the critical path will be highlighted with color. This color can be modified by going to the display settings. You can also add more filters to the result. There is also a tooltip available that will show you the latest and the earliest and beginning and finish date for the critical path. Now I'm going to change my display to 1.2.
So by the meantime, the critical path can be really useful, for all, customers that use, visual planning as a project management tool, just in order, to quickly identify what type of task can be moved in order to respect all the delay that have been implemented. When it comes to project management, this is one of the features that was requested many years ago in order to make, visual planning, improved regarding all the things that can be done when it comes to project management. So we believe that these brand new features when it comes to the Gantt view and the critical path will be really, really useful for your daily task that needs to be scheduled. Yeah.
Thank you, Emily. Now we're going to discuss how events manipulation have evolved. First of all, we're going to discuss the split functionality. We can now split an event to make room from another event. So here I'm going to drag and drop an existing event over another event, and then I will press the Control key. Visual planning will divide the other event and make room for the new one by rearranging the other event on the phase that I just moved the old event to. We can also divide an event into multiple events. This is called fragmentation, and I can access to it by right-clicking on my event, selecting More Tools, and selecting the Fragment Event option. You will see that now I will have one event per day according to the duration of the event that I selected. Please remember that this will work according to the type of event and the scale of the timeline. In addition to that, we are now able to create different assigning windows. Previously, you had to mix different criteria when you wanted to find the best suitable resource when assigning it to a new event. Now we can define as many assigning windows as we want, and we can access these windows by right-clicking on the event and selecting one of them. You will see that these windows will mix. We already have the criteria that we need to find the best suitable resource. So here, for example, I want to display the assigning window showing me the available resources, and then I can show another window showing me the resources that have the certification and are available for this event. We can also simply copy and paste one child event into another father event. Just use your Ctrl+C keys and use the shortcut Ctrl+V by selecting the father where you want to copy and paste the child. There you go. You can also do it with multiple selection.
So basically, it means that you can copy paste some events on several, father events in order just to save time. If in case that you have some kind of recurring task, you can, easily do it right now. And this is actually something that was requested in version 7, which was not possible, but that we have decided to implement in that new version, which is quite useful, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can also modify multiple links by selecting them and right-clicking on the selection and choose the option modify. Now I will say that I want these two links to have a delay of 9. Now, for those users who always wanted to synchronize visual planning with Office 365 and Google Agendas, we have a special surprise for you. We are now able to synchronize visual planning events with any internet calendar. This works thanks to the iCall protocol. This new functionality will work the same way as the internet calendars. So please remember that this type of exchange will only be a one-way exchange between visual planning and the internet calendar. So to sum up, we have discussed how data calculation has evolved to implement new events behaviors. We also discussed how we have improved our project management approach by adding new features to the Gantt view and allowing visual planning to exchange with MS Project. We also have shown new events and user interactions that are now available. And finally, we have expanded our data transfer between visual planning and Google Calendars or Office 365. So now I'm going to go back to Shant, who is going to talk about how visual planning will deal with internationalization.
So thank you, Tomas. We have extended a multilingual feature to allow translating for all visual planning entities, including dimensions, views, headings, filters, editors, etc. The multilingual feature is available in 5 languages, including French, English, Spanish, Italian, and German. So here you can see the planner is in English. And if one of my French colleagues wants to view the structure in French, thanks to the multilingual feature, they can now do so. We have more and more clients working in different countries and different time zones. Having the ability to toggle between time zones makes collaboration much more seamless. We listened to our clients and added a time zone management feature. The new time zone feature allows to see event hours depending on the user's machine's workstation and the time zone they are in. Time zones can be configured in the hourly calendar settings. From here, you can select any time zone you wish and assign it to a specific resource. So let's say Mr. Lopez is no longer working in France and is now working in New York. You can change and modify his hourly calendar to the preferred time zone. If you want to switch and see all events based on the New York time zone, the time zone can be selected by double-clicking on the date located on the bottom right side of the planner. And there you go. Where's New York? There we go. Voila. So all the events have been moved back by 6 hours. Additionally, you can see the working hours from 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. for the New York time zone. So to summarize, the multilingual feature was expanded to have the ability to translate all visual planning entities, and you will need to enable it from the Admin Center. Timescales will now adjust to the event hours of the user's machine's workstation's time zone. Time zones can be configured in hourly calendar settings and assigned to any resource. Time zones can now be selected and switched by double-clicking on the date located on the bottom right corner of the planner. I will now turn it back over to Thomas, who will now discuss the new features in BP Portal. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Shant.
Yes.
So we changed the login page of VP Portal. It now looks like this. We homogenized it with the VPDesk client. And like we saw it earlier, you can change the background image if you don't like it and put, for example, your logo company. So once we are logged in, we arrived on this page. It's a dashboard that was already introduced in the previous version of visual planning. But it's just a quick reminder to say that it's a very interesting way to display quick information for daily users using a lot of different kinds of widgets. In this new version, we improved the user interface by moving the context tab that were before displayed on top of the page, and now they are in a menu on the left, which is called a hamburger menu, so that the user will have a bigger working area. So if we go in the schedule, for example, schedule context, please, yes, thank you. Now you can see that in this view, but not in particular, we moved the input search field and the combo box filter in the toolbar, so that it's quicker to the users to have access to those key functionalities. Moreover, those widgets are responsive. It means that they change their displays according to the available area. So now there is not enough space. We see that it's just a button, and if we give him more space, it will display a full combo box. Yes, thank you. It's a full combo box. Moreover, we also had the ability to resize the columns of the tables, but not only the table of the schedule part, but every table in VP Portal, so that you won't waste space displaying small information such as booleans or small numbers. And finally, about the scheduler view, we made available the so-called Russian doll display. It means that now the children events are now displaying in their parents' boxes, like on the VPDesk client. You can, of course, edit them, create them, change their date, move them. It will all change according to the hierarchy of the events. In the previous version of VP Portal, we introduced you to the multiple context view, where you can display, for example, an event list and side-by-side resource list. Now we went a little bit further with this ID, and we are now displaying a resource list and side by side another resource list. So with this, you will be able to create very easily an event by simply drag and dropping a resource or on another one. Like here, if we want to create an habilitation on an employee, we simply drag and drop an habilitation on somebody, and it's okay. An event, an habilitation is now created for these people. Another improvement area of this new version of VP Portal was to work on the project management. So we decided to implement the Gantt view in VP Portal like we saw it earlier on the VP desk. So it looks like this, a very typical Gantt view. You can edit events, you can create them, you can move them. Of course, you can also create links between those events and edit them. So let's say that, for example, yes, we want to edit a link and change an attribute of this link, change the delay, and we validate, and the view will update according to this change automatically. And one final implementation that we made on this view is to display the critical path. Like we saw it earlier also on the VP Desk client, it displays all the events of the critical path in red, and those there are links too. So if we look here, it means that you can only move the green event if you don't want to change the begin or the end of the project. The other events must not be moved. So, Emily, can you speak a little bit more about other functionalities that were implemented in this new version?
Yeah, and actually to go further with VP Portal, we have decided to implement some features from VP Desk to VP Portal. So now the repeat features is available in any schedule view that you have in VP Portal just by making a right click, and then you will be able, to repeat, any task in case that you have recurring task to schedule in this schedule view. Just here by hitting the button, and there you will be able, to edit all the repeat settings that you want to apply into that view. The very much requested to ask filter is now available in VP Portal in order, to quickly find a specific resource and apply, this resource to a view and apply it, to the overall view as already said, and find, the correct information into the planner. And last but not least, which is actually a feature which has been implemented for the version 8 and available in VP Desk, the customized assignment windows are now also available in VP Portal. So whenever you will configure them in VP Desk, the very same criteria will be applied also in VP Portal and in VPGO too. So in a nutshell, our web platform is actually increasingly being used by daily users and requested by many customers. So for this new version, we have decided to improve the responsive design of the applications, bring the Gantt view and its associated features, and add, some of the features that are available in VP Desk. So now let's talk about, all remote users that need to have access to visual planning through our mobile application VPGO.
Yes, thank you. So this is a new application of VPGO. It's VPGO 8. It's available on both platforms, on Android 6 and iOS 9 minimum. So once you are logged in, yes, you arrived on this display, which is the home screen. And now you can see that below the context tiles is a dashboard. So because the dashboard it's a context, you can display as many dashboards as you want, and they will also be displayed according to the user's rights. You can, of course, change the background color of those tiles. You can change also their size. And you have the choice between 4 types of widgets, which are the weather widget, the HTML content, total resource, and the workload resource. So speaking about improving the user interface and user experience, we decided also to change the editors of the events and of the resource too. If you go in project, please, yes, another, yes, this one, and no, the first one, please, yes. Yes, this is an event editor, and now, as you can see, the entity attributes between the sections are now displayed in some sort of tiles, so that there is a better readability of the information for the users. We also add the possibility to make contents between those events and those resources by these new tab comments on the bottom, so that the users can speak about a specific task together. Of course, this functionality will also be available on offline mode. Speaking of improving the user interface, we also changed the way we create event. Now let's use another project. Yes, task to assign, please. Yes, and plus. Now to create an event, you simply have to click on those lists of the mandatory resources, and by simply clicking on and very quickly clicking on those lists, you can create easily an event. No. Yes, thank you. And one final big improvement on this new version was to work on the agenda view. You all know this view where where above there is an agenda and below all the events that are available on a specific day. But it's sometimes difficult to understand and read those informations. So now, by simply switching your phone in landscape mode, you will have a full schedule view displayed, and all the events will be displayed during the week like this. So it will be very easier to understand your schedule. You can, of course, create events, edit them, delete them. You can also have access to filters through the buttons yes, above in the toolbar, like on the other view. So for VPGO, we saw that we improved the access to the information through a new dashboard. We also improved the readability of the information through the new editors. And finally, we made the application more responsive with the new agenda view.
So now let's talk about, all the developers that still, need to help daily users to interface, information with your existing and internal tool. So we have actually implemented a brand new feature for and dedicated to developers. So Thomas, you are the best person to talk about it.
Yes.
So can you share more information about that?
Yes, so as you said, this time we thought more about the developers than the users. As you know, the API is a very powerful tool to interact with the data of VP. You can create, you can edit events, resources too. But because of the dynamical structure of visual planning, it's sometimes difficult to the developers to understand this. So that's why we decided to mimic the module of import-export, and we created a new module which is called API Designer. So let's say that, for example, we want to create to export all the list of the employees of this planner. So we select the dimension, the resource, and we arrive here. So we can select the attributes that we want to export. For example, yes, first name, last name. We select also the method get, because the HTTP method get, because we want to get a list. And we can change the filter, but for this example, we said that we want all the employees, so we keep all. And that's all. Now there is an entry that is available in the server at this specific URL, And now by simply calling this URL and writing down the API key in the header, as you know, the API key to authenticate yourself within Admin Center, you will get in response, in the response body, an array of htable which looks like this, an array of the attributes that you selected. If you want to modify data, you can use the put method. If you want to create data, you will have to use the post method. So now we saw that with this new module, we improved the way to interact with visual planning through the API, and now the developers have better time to look on the task, on their business task, rather than on understanding the structure of VP.
So we have basically reviewed all major features that have been implemented in visual planning, from the admin centers to the light client. Thanks to the brand new user interface, you now have more flexibility to manipulate data. And we also think that it was really important to improve existing features while bringing some brand new ones. So we think that one of the very first questions you may ask us is, what next? How far does visual planning will go in the next version? So maybe Thomas, you can just give us like a kind of sneak peek about what you're actually working on with the development team.
Yes, of course. For the future plans, we will add more functionalities in VP Portal and VPGO based on the main used functionalities that are used on the VP Test client. We will also add more intelligence and more help to schedule in the 3 clients. And of course, we will make the VP solution, better integration of the VP solution in your own information system through the use of API and custom servlets.
Okay, sounds great. And what about services that are proposed to our customers in order to help them to use and get accustomed to that new version of visual planning?
Of course, Emily. As visual planning evolves, so do our services.
Yeah.
And we have a specialized consulting team and also a specialized support team available for all of our customers. But we also have a premium service that customers can get. And these services are available. So if you want to know more about them and want to know more about implementing these new features into visual planning, our customers just have to contact their sales representative.
Okay, sounds perfect too. So in any case, if you need any assistance to implement some of the features that you have seen today, feel free to contact your sales representative or your partners.
Great. So thank you, Emily. Thank you. So visual planning software continues to meet market expectations and continues to be an efficient tool when scheduling all types of resources. It was our pleasure to unveil the highly anticipated version 8 and its new and exciting features. So we will now have another team member join us for the Q&A segment, and we thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, and make sure to stay for the question and answer session. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as we told you, a new team member has just joined us. Hi, Adrian.
Hello everyone, my name is Adrian Trafidlo. I'm a consulting manager and I work for Stilog I.S.T.
Hi, so we have actually received many questions throughout this presentation. Let's start with the first one. Let me check on my tablet. Can I add my own language to the multilingual feature? Okay, the multilingual feature, remember, was actually presented by Shant. Maybe Adrian, you can talk about it and answer to that question.
I can take it. As for right now, we cannot add our own languages and we are limited only to the 5 languages that are currently in the system.
Yeah, that's true. So make sure to, share this information with all users, that as long as you will pick a language, the configured items and dimensions will be automatically translated. But once again, as Adria said, this is only linked to the 5 languages available in visual planning. Next questions. Does the time zone feature have exceptions? We don't know exactly what do you mean by exceptions, but maybe you can precise, more and add more details, Adrian, about that.
Yeah, I think I might have an idea. I think it's about the exceptions, for example, that are existing in US time zones. And
Okay.
yes, we can basically handle them by the time zone feature. So
Yeah.
all the time zones, all the exceptions will be handled.
Okay, and worldwide too, because
Yes,
there's
of
many
course.
time zones to handle, and we have many customers around the world. So yes, yeah, for sure. Do we have another questions? Let me check. Do you provide FTP as FTP environment for performing data exchange? Adrian too, maybe you can answer to that question.
Yes, so we can actually exchange information. We provide that service, but for only with the VP dedicated server.
Dedicated server. Yes. Yeah. So in case that you are using visual planning with the on-premise deployment or through our shared server, that would not be possible, and that would not be provided by Stilog. Do we have another question that just came? Yes. Are there any price changes for the release of the version 8 of visual planning? So regarding price changes, there is no, for sure, and I think that many customers will be happy about that. The only change regarding the version 8 is about our dedicated server. The price will be lower. For many reasons, we have had the opportunity to lower our prices. Regarding the new deployment mode that we propose now, that will be the very same prices as the cloud option that will be applied for that new deployment mode. So this is actually basically the main 2 changes that will be applied for the version 8 of visual planning, for sure. So do we have another questions? All right. How long will the version 6 and version 7 maintenance be covered? As you already know, the version 6 is no longer covered by our technical support, but just in case that if you need any specific support at any time, you can still contact your sales representative or your partner, so we can, provide you some assistance regarding that upon quotations. Regarding the version 7, this version will be still handled and covered, while we will manage the version 8 of visual planning and provide you support until 2022, if I'm right. Is it possible to fragment some events? Maybe Thomas, you can answer to it.
Yeah, of course, Emily. So I'm glad you asked this question, because actually we can 100% fragment children events. It depends, of course, in the kind of behavior these events have. And of course, it depends on the scale of the timeline. So unfortunately, for this example, my events are similar. They have a similar behavior, so I cannot fragmentate. But if I right-click on it, on any children event, and I access to more tools, I have the fragment option available, and VP automatically will divide the events into different, according to the scale.
Okay, sounds good. Next questions. When using the chat feature, are we able to chat with specific users, or will the chat discussion be visible to the whole group? Yes, actually you will have the options to send a text message to a specific employee or colleague if you want to, and it will be up to you as a user, to choose the specific users or specific employee that will have access to the chat you will send to that person. So yes, that's possible. Do we have another question here? I think yes. Thanks to the new icon library, will my previously resourced icons be kept? Maybe Thomas, you can answer to that questions. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So actually, with the icons you already have on your planner, you can easily go to the settings tab, and then if you have the icon activated, you can save it and use it again on your planner.
All right then. And do we have another question? I think yes, because we have received many of them. Okay, next one. So in the schedule view, can the color of the grid line be changed? The default is white. Can it be changed in black to have a better view? This is a request that have been shared with all our sales representatives and requested a lot from many customers. So yeah, Thomas, again, if you can share a word about that.
Yeah, so we cannot change the color, but we can play with the contrast of the grid. So here I will go to any schedule view, go to the display settings, and then if you go to the schedule tab, you will see that we now have the contrast available for the grid. So right now my schedule is 0%, is at 0% contrast. So I will play with it and maybe put it somewhere around 25. Okay, almost there. Okay, 22, and then you will see that the grid will actually be more visible. Okay.
Which is quite nice. So all customers and all users will be able, to manage all the contrast of their planner, which is actually quite great.
Yeah.
Quite great. So next questions. Oh, we have a question about administrators. Can planner administrators add new users? Maybe Tom, you can answer to that question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, now the planning administrators can add the new users in this new version on visual planning.
Okay, which is actually brand new and it was not possible to do it in version 7. Once again, this is part of the requests that we have received, when we have launched the version 7 of visual planning. So yeah, the only thing that you need to keep in mind is that the more you will allow administrator users in the planner, the more it will maybe open the doors to more mistakes. So make sure to define specific and very few administrators if you want to still control who can do what and who can modify the assignments of each licensee that you have here. Next question. So is it possible to have more than one super administrator account? This is kind of related of the previous questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, no. There can be only one super admin in the planner.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
All right then, can the insert or split feature be used in Gen view? Which is actually quite interesting to know.
Yeah. So for now, it is not possible, but I think there is a interesting feature to work on. So we're looking forward to improving that part.
Okay. In the event map view, okay, so if the event maps are view available in VP portal?
For now, no, it's not. It's not available. You can have a classic view, a classic map view, but not this kind of view when we are drawing all the events in the view. Okay. But it will be. I think it will be added in the roadmap for the future.
Part of the improvement.
Yes, part of the improvement.
So let's wait for the version 9 of visual planning then.
Yes.
Okay, do we have another question? Yes, for sure. What is the purpose of the moon icon in the right? I think that this is in the right top corner. Maybe, Adrian, you can talk about it?
Yes, so the moon icon actually activates the dark mode in visual planning. That changes the layout of visual planning to a little bit darker.
Way darker.
Yes.
So yeah, once again, because it comes to configuration settings and so on, users will be able, depending on their own station, will be able to modify the color and the overall theme of their planner and of their schedule. So it will be accessible to all users. So do we have another question? I think yes. Does VP8 work also with Tomcat 9 or is Tomcat 10 minimum requirements?
So no, it's Tomcat 9 minimum.
Okay.
So it works on both, but it's Tomcat 9 minimum.
Okay, perfect. So next questions. Okay, so this question is related to exporting informations to Excel. So is it possible to export a planning to Excel, not an export, to easily share planning with the customers?
Yeah, so right now we can export data from the resources and the events. So we cannot export a schedule view on an Excel, but if you want to easily share a schedule view, you can still use the print to PDF or generate a PDF file with the schedule.
Okay. So once again, the printing option and the PDF option was already available in the version 7 of Visual Planning, so feel free to use it. And if you want some assistance to configure it, feel free to contact once again your sales representative or partner. Can again be exported to Smartsheet, or is it only possible to export it to MS Project? Is it possible, Adrian, or not?
As for right now, we can only export it to the XML file, which will be possible to import with MS Project, but through the API, potentially we can create a development that will allow us to integrate with not only Smartsheets, but as well other types of software. And that being said, I would like to add that all the APIs that were working for version 6 and version 7 will be working as well for version 8.
Okay. So you basically need the assistance of some developers. Once again, if you do not have a dedicated team in order to put in place those API, feel free to contact us once again if you need any support. Do you have another question? Yes, about VP Portal. Are we able to slide the calendar instead of having a fixed months view, similar to the client view?
Yes, so this one,
Good question.
it's a difficult one, yes. We don't have that in this version of VP Portal. Also in the agenda view, it's not sliding. We are thinking about this for quite a long time, but now it's not available. And it will be added in the roadmap for the future version.
Future version.
Yes.
Version 9, maybe? We don't know.
Maybe, hope so.
Let's hope so. Do we have another questions? We actually have received many questions at the very end of the presentation. So the very last question that we have received, I will just pick some of them. When will VP8 available to the public, and what's the process for upgrading? This is something that I wanted to share with you today. So Visual Planning 8 is now available. So starting tomorrow, you will be able to contact your sales representative in order to upgrade your versions from version 7 to version 8, for instance, as long as you are under a maintenance contract or a hosting contract, for sure. Do we have another question? Hi, in this version, is it possible to export charts into a PDF or image file using the API? For example, in a third-party application, we will be able to retrieve the chart and insert. Do you know if this is possible, Adrian, maybe? No, I don't think so.
It's not possible. No.
Yeah.
Well, you can, if you want to export charts, you can do it by simply copying the chart and then paste it somewhere else, but we cannot use the API for that.
Okay, okay, pretty clear here. Once again, we are receiving questions, more questions. Can you see the editor pane on events for the scheduled chart view or only the scheduled table view? I think that's only the table view.
It's only the classic event list view, so maybe that's something we need to work on for next versions.
Okay. We have another question. Is it possible in a schedule or diary view to adjust the color of the text on the duration bar? I think yes.
No, for the duration bar, you can, it can be automatically modified based on the color of the background, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so here on my schedule view, I will modify the color of the background of the schedule.
Yeah.
By going to the display settings and then to the schedule tab and selecting any color, and this will automatically contrast everything with so on the left. And if you want to change the color of the text inside the event, you need to have another color that contrasts the color of the background.
Of the background, yeah, for sure. We have received more questions. Will it be necessary to install the VPGO version 8 on mobile phone? So is there a new app to download?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a new app,
Okay.
like for VP7. So it's a new app that you have to download and to install on your telephone, mobile phone.
Okay. Can the API capture deleted events so the API knows which event is deleted? Is it possible to do it?
While deleting the events with
Deleting,
the API?
yeah, deleting the events.
I think
with
it
the
is
API.
possible with the
Yeah.
API to delete the events. We would have to confirm later on this question, but I think it is possible.
Sure. Yeah. In order to define what will trigger the call that we sent, through the API. Yeah, for sure. Well, okay, so now we have another questions about the admin center. Can new users import it automatically? This is requested by companies with many, many users. So is it possible to import, many, like a directory or many logins once and do it just once and import it in the admin center?
Yeah, sure. You can actually import a file, CSV file,
Okay.
or text file,
Yeah.
with all of your users. But you can also create an interface between VP and any Active Directory.
Okay.
So this will automatically, by clicking on a button, you can
Yeah.
automatically import all of
Sure.
the users you define in the Active Directory. Yeah, exactly.
In the Active Directory, okay. We have actually received way more questions, but all your sales representative, unfortunately, as time is flying, will not be able to answer to all questions today, but your sales representative will for sure get back to you and your partner too in order to answer the very few questions we were not able to answer today, specifically because some of the questions are very dedicated to your own configuration settings, so it may require us to do a demo in order to provide you more details. Before to end this presentation, there are a few information I would like to share with you today. Once again, we have received these questions is about the availability of Visual Planning, the version 8. So the version 8 will be available right now. So feel free to contact your sales representative to have access to all upgrade information and to know how to proceed in order to benefit from these new versions of visual planning for our cloud customers that are using visual planning through our shared servers. We will upgrade all configurations on early November, on November 2nd and November 8th. So depending on the server your configuration is actually installed, your sales representative will get back to you to give you the specific date for the upgrade of your own configurations. And regarding the US citizens, the US customers, the upgrade of our cloud customers will be done on November 15th. Regarding all our cloud customers that use visual planning through our dedicated offer, we will need to get back to you in order to decide which date will be chosen in order to upgrade your configuration. As you already know, this is part of your contract, so you can have the full flexibility to decide when you want to perform all the upgrades. Regarding the new deployment mode, that is to say the on-premise subscription option, once again, that will be available starting tomorrow. So if you want additional information about that, do not hesitate to contact your sales representative partner once again, so we can assist you regarding that. And if, once again, you want some support about all the features that you have seen today, feel free to contact us at any time. So many thanks for attending to this digital event. We really hope that you will enjoy this new feature and that it will potentially provide you new opportunities to develop and optimize your current configurations. Thanks a lot, Thomas. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shant, too. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you.